What is up, big brother, brothers, and sisters? It is officially September. It's my birthday month, and I'm excited to get here and talk to you about week 8 of Big Brother. We have about a month left in Big Brother. It's going by so quickly. It went by so fast. I can't believe we're like in the last month and we're narrowing it down to the final people that are going to be on Big Brother, and it's looking really, 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 really good for the cookout. This is going to be history in the making. I've seen all types of mixed reviews right now on the cookout. Some people really, really love it because they said it's really good gameplay from the beginning to the end. I feel like Tiffany has put in probably the most work for creating the cookout, like her strategies and everything that she's been working on. From what we see, it seems like Tiffany has been working the hardest to make sure that the cookout goes down in history. And regardless of people love it or hate it, it is history in the making. It is a genius plan. It's never been done before because it's never been able to be done before. So it's a great, great season. And I don't see how a lot of people don't see that this is just a great season. I'm hearing more and more people talk about it. Now, y'all know y'all was not Big Brother fans a long time ago. Now, all of a sudden, y'all want to come in here and get on the Big Brother wagon. You know, I jumped on in like season 16. And so I've been Big Brother in it since season 16, but I jumped on the bandwagon, but that was when it really wasn't like it is now. So I'm interested to see how future Big Brother seasons are going to go when it's all said and done, because this puts radars out for, you know, minority cast now. Like, they're going to be like, look, you know, I hope it doesn't continue to be like that. The people come in with open minds coming into the Big Brother house. Hopefully it can be like that, but this could change the aesthetic or how Big Brother works, and they might have to start switching around or changing some rules around or doing something in order to make sure that it doesn't turn into like some like race war on Big Brother. I just see it that way. Anyway, let's get into week 8 of Big Brother, which was an amazing it was a good week again, because we're getting down to the bottom. And, you know, I was looking forward to seeing Sarah Beth walk out the zoo. So, you know, let's get down to it. We already know, I'm jumping ahead. Yes, Sarah Beth is out the door, but we'll get to that in a second. We already know she's gone, but let's break down how she got there. How did Sarah Beth get out of the house? So eventually, like we talked about last week, Tiffany is now the new HOH, and everybody's excited. You know, they have Asa, they're all excited. Claire is up there, all excited. They're all happy. You know, Claire is kind of on the outskirts, but they're all being happy because, you know, Tiffany is the closest to them, and they feel like, you know, they have some protection with Tiffany being the HOH. So Kylan is kind of heartbroken right now because, you know, Derek X is gone. You know, that was one of his comrades and everything like that. And, you know, you can't keep everybody, and eventually people have to go, and people have to realize that even Kylan is coming to the realization there's a bigger picture. And like, even though he's close with Sarah Beth, you know, we have to make these tough decisions. So he's upset. He's sad that she's gone. Also, Chada went through the same thing, and she's really like, she's mad because, you know, she had to do this. She had to put Derek X up there, and they know the risk, but it's not easy to see such a close friend of yours go. And I understand why it's so hard for her. But everybody started to get over because Tiffany is, you know, getting them to where they, you know, getting, you know, Chada where she needs to be. And also Derek F and his comforting of Kylan. It was so cute. Like, they, you know, they're really being there for their friends like you're supposed to be in the house when somebody leaves that you're so used to for all of these weeks. So now you have to basically formulate or come up with a whole new way of playing your game once you have somebody like that leave. So it's interesting to see the dynamics of that when it's all said and done. But it looks like Xavier is the one that is sticking with the cookout, regardless of whatever, because there's little stuff that's beginning to happen little by little. We'll talk about that in just a second. But Xavier is starting to be like, okay, I'm going to ride this out with the cookout because, you know, this is the plan. This is how we set it up. So I love how he's sticking to his guns with that. So after all that's said and done, Derek F and Tiffany have a sit-down conversation, and they begin to talk about, you know, why they've had so many run-ins within the game and kind of working together and within the cookout. Now, to me, Derek F still comes off as fake, you guys. And I mean, as much as people love him and he's one of America's favorites, I'm sorry. His game really does come off as fake. I've heard mixed reviews on him because I feel like I still go back to that disrespect that he gave Tiffany at the very beginning of the game. That was out of line. And so then he gets on the screen right after he gets done talking to her. And I guess that's the game of Big Brother. And we can't really put it down to just because they're in the same alliance. But he's basically like, you know what? I'm going to tell her what she needs to hear. But you ain't, but he's holding his gun down. I feel like Tiffany sees it and she knows. But I just feel like he really comes off as fake sometimes. And I'm not here for it, but I mean, he could possibly be, get back into the mode of it because to me, Derek F is talk. He likes to run it off. He likes to talk like he's this big bad person in the house. He has not won a HOH yet or anything like that. I'm not sure if he won a competition yet. I don't think he's won a competition yet. But yet he has all of this pull in the house, which he thinks he does by, I may be siding with Kylan, but that's probably the closest person beside Asa, who was in the Jokers with him, that he has. So I don't know how much leverage that he's really pulling, but he comes off as like, oh, I'm pulling all this leverage, and I just don't see it for him. I don't see it for you. Anyway, we get down to the fact of Sarah Beth coming to talk now to Tiffany because she's trying to smooth things over and kind of, Sarah Beth's a really good talker. She gets down there and she gets down to business. Sarah Beth begins to like talk it out with, Tiffany and saying, I really feel like I am not the biggest threat here. And, she starts talking in her voice and Tiffany is like kind of going along with it. She's like, okay, yeah, I see you. You're saying these things. You're doing these things. I kind of believe you. I kind of don't. And I just feel like there's just so much that's mixed up with that whole dynamic in general. And I'm really not here for it. I'm not here for Sarah Beth pandering and trying to, but she has to do what she has to do. She has to stay in the house. I kind of keep my mind set on Sarah Beth has to stay in the house. She's going to do whatever she has to do in order to do that. So if that even means throwing Alyssa under the bus, she was going to do it, which she did. She threw Alyssa under that bus because she's like, I want her to go first. We need to get Alyssa out of this picture. If I got to do anything by any means necessary, I got to get her. I got to get her out of here before I get out of here. Knowing that you're like one of the last that's in this house. So it's like, you're not part of the cookout and neither is Claire and neither is Alyssa. So Sarah Beth had to do everything that she could do to do that. And I get it. That's the game. That's how you play. So eventually we come to the nomination ceremony after all of the pandering, all of the back and forth that they did. Now we have the nominations and there was no holding back for Tiffany. Of course, Xavier had to be up there because this is a punishment he chose to be the third nominee because he's pretty safe. But then she put up Kylan and Sarah Beth. So I think that Sarah Beth didn't want both her and Kylan to be up there because, either or, at least somebody is going to stay and she might have had more of a chance of staying if there was another target in there, which she really doesn't. I think they're clueless to the fact that they really don't have a chance if the cookout sticks together like it is, which it seems like they are. She really didn't have a chance to begin with, but you got to try what you got to do, and now it's a little too late. So Sarah Beth is up there, and Kylan was put up there along with them, and she knows basically her fate is kind of starting to be sealed right now, and she gets the hang of it. But then there is a twist on this game because the High Rollers room is going to be used for the last time, and this is the big coin of destiny that everybody had been talking about saving up money for and trying to play and all of that stuff. And so eventually they all, like, Tiffany doesn't want certain people like Derek F to play. She tells them not to play. And then whoever else wants to play might not have enough money. It seemed like nobody had enough money to play this game. If Derek X had stayed in it, he would have had money to play this game. That would have been a game changer, but he's gone now. But Derek F still chose to play after Tiffany even asked him not to, but he decides to throw the game. So Derek F rolls, he hits one thing, and he's like, okay, hopefully that's enough. But I don't even want to be in the suspense of knowing that you went and played that game, and somebody could get 0, and then you done messed up the whole cookout. So I was stressed out watching it. I was just like, okay, come on, let Claire, because Claire was the other person who played. And I was like, please let Claire hit these pins. Please let Claire hit these pins. Let her get this. Make sure she knocks down more than one. And she did. Claire did a great job. I think she knocked down 3. That's a little too close for comfort because I was like, that would have all been ruined, which means now Claire got to overthrow Tiffany, but it's a secret overthrow of an HOH. So nobody knows that Claire was the HOH. Now she can choose how she wants the nominations to be, which she ends up deciding to make the nominations the same as what Tiffany did, because why mess up what Tiffany was already going to do when that was good for your game too? So she keeps it the same, which disappoints Sarah Beth and Kylan even more. And I think it was a good move on Claire's part. Claire might have needed to mess stuff up though if she wanted to stay, because now this Claire, you're pretty much done. I mean, I don't know what order you're gonna go home in, whether it be Alyssa first or Claire first. I don't know, but I just know that it's not looking good for any of you, because the cookout is pretty cemented right now. I really can't see a way that the cookout can be messed up. Let me not speak too soon, because right when I say that, something crazy is gonna happen, and then the cookout history is done, and I'll be so upset. I'll come back on here like, how did they mess this up? So I don't want to put that even in the air. We're putting out positive energy for the cookout. I hope that you guys succeed in this history-making thing. So we get to Wednesday, and Claire is very amped about making sure people know that she kept the nomination. She wants to maybe let people know, so all of that credit doesn't go maybe to Tiffany for having a good week. Tiffany don't want that to happen, because she's like, look, I'll take the rap for it. I'll make it seem like I was the HOH again or something like that. And she doesn't want her to say anything. So Claire may be able to later on use it for a little bit of leverage. I'm not sure how she can, but I think it was a smart move for her to stay quiet on that note and that tip, because you didn't want to like mess up anything that might happen or have anybody sway anything, which is very hard to kind of come close to breaking anything up with the cookout right now. So Sarah Beth goes through this whole phase where she feels totally defeated. She feels like she's not liked in the house. She's unliked. And I think it really isn't about this game. And this is what, as I was watching it, I felt a little bit sorry for Sarah Beth, but not really, because she's been a jerk. She's been kind of like a jerk during this whole game. And it's like, girl, like, you have been telling America to wipe their butt with this and just going like, being very superior to like just this superiority that she has to people, and it doesn't come off as friendly. So I think this unlike thing might have been something that she's dealt with outside of the house before, and I think she's feeling the brunt of it here. Because when you sit in the house with the same people all the time, and basically everybody is kind of, they like you, but they don't. And it's just kind of like you're trying to be liked so hard. And maybe this is something she dealt with all of her life, and she brought that into the house. But Big Brother really puts a spotlight on when you are a person, all of the trauma and stuff that you may have been through. It's going to be revealed to you on Big Brother. We've seen that in so many different cases. One that I can really point out before that's happened with is Tamar. When she was in the Celebrity Big Brother house, all of the things that she had to feel, you're faced with that, because you don't have any distractions. You're there with these people, and then you have to face the music of what you are on a daily basis. And I think that really helps people to get a little bit centered. It could make people go a little crazy, but I think it really does center people a lot. So that's why I kind of like the fact that in the Big Brother house, you're able to really come to terms with yourself in there. And I love that about the Big Brother house. And that's why I said I would probably jump at the opportunity to maybe be on Big Brother one day. I don't know. With everything going on right now, I might not have a chance. With everything happening right now, with this history being made, we might not be seeing anything like this for the next 10 years. We'll see. Anyway, then we go to the veto competition, and the people that have to go up there is, of course, Xavier, Sarah Beth, and Kylan. Xavier ends up picking Alyssa. What are the odds? Like, that's why I say I think that bucket is rigged, y'all. I'm telling you, that bucket gotta be rigged. You know what I'm saying? That he would pick out Alyssa of all the people. That's the person that can get him off the block. Then Sarah Beth picks Claire. That's a good decision, right there. Bam. And then Kylan picks Hannah. I mean, it couldn't be set up any better than that for the cookout. So it's like, I be feeling like that thing is rigged, and they like, we're going to make this cookout history here, so make sure nobody in that bucket goes in there. I don't know. It just seemed too perfect. It just seems so perfect this year, how the setup of everybody that's being picked and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it's not manipulated, but it's my thought. Can I have a thought? Yeah, I have a thought. Anyway, we find out that they have to play this game. it's based around they get to play for watching a movie, Dear Evan Hansen, which hasn't come out yet. It comes out September 24th. I gotta see it. I love musicals. That's gonna be really, really good. So they play this chronological order game where things are out of place and they have to like put it in chronological order. So it's kind of the theme of Dear Evan Hansen because they're in school and stuff like that, and all of these things are popping up from old members of the cast. It's like pictures drawn, and it seems from what we can see, because the editing goes on with this and everything, you don't get to see the full game, but it seems as if Hannah and Sarah Beth did the best in this competition. So it was looking very, 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 very tight between the two. They made it look like Sarah Beth just got it like that, like first try. But Hannah did really well. I noticed that Hannah did really, really well when she did that split. I was like, oh, okay, she might have pulled that off really well, but she did. She ended up winning. This was like Hannah's, I think, first win. So I was excited because remember I told y'all I'm rooting actually for Hannah. But Tiffany is like a close second because Tiffany is playing a really, really good game. Hannah's kind of like the sidekick. So they both, I think, deserve to go to the final two. I'm starting to narrow down who I want to be in the final two. And it's looking like I'm leaning towards Tiffany and Hannah. That would be my ideal final two. I would love to see that. But as things unfold, things can change. Once it starts getting down to the cookout just being the cookout, things could get it's gonna shake it up a little bit. So they get to go and watch this Dear Evan Hansen movie, and she picks the bottom three people, the people that are all on the block, which I thought was a good decision, even though Derek F was pissed off about it. Derek F, you was probably gonna fall asleep on it anyway, so don't get upset. She picked who she thought should be there because one of them is getting ready to go, and they deserve that treat. So I really thought that was very thoughtful of Hannah to do that, and that's why I kind of like Hannah, even though she came off at the beginning as a little harsh. We'll talk about that in just a second because Hannah still is harsh, but I still have a spot in my heart for Hannah. Like I really do like her. I like her a lot. She just has something about her that I really enjoy to watch. So after that, we get to this major section of the show where my mouth, there's always like one of the episodes of the week that has my mouth like, you just did that. You did like what Derek X did when he went and told Alyssa that he was going to try to backdoor Christian. Kylan goes up to Hannah and asks Hannah to actually remove him from the block instead of Xavier. Who are you playing for? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't get it. And he uses the excuse that he doesn't want to be the one. He wants to give a sympathy vote because he'll get to vote for Sarah Beth. So he'll have one sympathy vote. That don't make no sense. So if that's really the case, you could get somebody else in the whole cookout to do it one sympathy vote for her. You don't need to come off the block and mess the whole thing up. Keep stuff how it is. Kylan, that was dumb. That brings down the trust value. And Kylan is working weird. He's working kind of smart, but kind of weird. He's just moving very weirdly. And I want to talk about it right now, but I want to make sure I complete what we were talking about on Wednesday. But Kylan is moving very weirdly to me, and I'll explain to you why I feel like Kylan is moving weirdly. But I thought that was just a dumb move altogether. But Hannah dismisses that, and she goes ahead and she pulls Xavier off the block. And I was happy. Xavier's off, so now it's just Sarah Beth and Kylan. They're on the block. Basically now, Kylan knows he's safe. Sarah Beth knows. She has to know that she's going home. So we jump over to Thursday, and now Chada's real, happy that she made the decision. And then Kylan's trying to like play it off like, oh, I'm so happy you made this decision. But you already messed yourself up in Hannah's eyes, or Chada, however you want to say it. You messed yourself up in her eyes so she can use that as an argument when Tiffany's trying to decide who she wants to like keep around for the long run. Kylan, he can't be trusted. Now, I just feel like he's flipping around and just trying to grasp at straws right now and doing whatever he has to do, using his kindness, his flirtiness to appeal to people, especially the cookout. I think he does it with Derek F. He's starting to do it with Tiffany, as we're going to see a little bit later. And now he's starting to do it with, he's doing it with Chada, like trying to make her butter her up a little bit. Xavier, he might want him out of there if he has a chance. He might want to be the last male standing. So Derek F will kind of be easy to manipulate too. Xavier is the only person that he can't. So Kylan needs to get Xavier out if he wants to last. But we move on from that to this scene where Alyssa is sitting down. There's just so much weird stuff that happened in this one day on this episode. Alyssa is sitting down with Claire, and Xavier is sitting there. And then Alyssa's tale says, "Oh, you're the last white person that's left on the show." Alyssa, not even in the hints in the tense of the game, like, but why would you even bring that up? Like, why make somebody that uncomfortable and bring that up to someone's attention like that? Like, oh, you're the last white person left in the game. Ring, 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 sirens, 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 sirens. I mean, yeah, now all of a sudden, Claire is starting to really think. She's like, oh shoot, I am the last white person left in the game. Cause if Sarah Beth leaves, I'm gonna be out of, I'm gonna be it. Because Alyssa is Latina. Or I don't want to say that incorrectly. She is Hispanic. I don't want to say it incorrectly. I'm so sorry. Like, I get them intertwined sometimes, but she is not all the way, white. She's a mixture. I'm gonna put it that way. And I want to be so politically correct all the time, but I try my best. Anyway, she is in the mix, and so yes, Claire is but you don't have to bring it to her attention. So Xavier is like, you might have sealed your fate, Alyssa, by bringing that up. You might go before Claire does, because you're up here hinting at stuff that can mess up the Cookouts game in the long run. But at this point, like I said, if Sarah Beth leaves, then, it's two people left, Alyssa and Claire. It's really a no-brainer of who needs to go up on the block on the next round. So after that incident, another weird thing happens where Derek F is on this hammock with Chada, and Tiffany's out there, and then this huge little bee or something starts flying around all over the place, and Derek F freaks out and hops off of the hammock. The hammock flips over. Chada flips over with the hammock, and Chada hits her head on the back of the like wood board underneath the hammock. And it's just unbelievable to me that Derek F was scared of this. I probably would have done the same. Let me not even lie. I ain't going perp. Like, I would have probably did the same thing. Of course, Derek F, jumping off, and I'm balancing up the weight. That thing flipped over real hard. So maybe mine would have been a little lighter if I had jumped off, but I probably still would have run from, yeah. I ain't going to knock Derek F for that. If you really got a fear of bees, hey, do what you got to do, but watch out for her. Say, I'm about to get up from this hammock. Let me remove myself. He just jumps up, and then they're cooking in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, they come out to see all the commotion and what's going on. That Chada hit her head, and she could have a concussion or whatever. Something could be wrong. And all of a sudden, everything starts burning in the oven. The oven starts burning. Flames start going up. And I'm like, y'all, that's a cursed day. That was an entire cursed day. And I was just sitting back there like, gee, y'all really had it bad that day. And it couldn't have got any worse than that. But I was just like, this whole day is down the drain from Alyssa bringing that up and then all of this other crap. I was like, okay, just let's go to the next day. Anyway, we all have these conversations. Now the Cookout starts to have these conversations about who's going to be next after all of this is said and done. And so we're now all starting to make these little plans on what we're going to do to make sure that we sustain. And so Kylan is talking with the guys, with Xavier and Derek F, and they're kind of making this little type of alliance. And Sarah Beth tried to start an alliance too. Let's not mention, it was called the Monarch or something like that. It was a whole bunch of people that were, a couple were in the Cookout, a couple were Sarah Beth and Claire, but that's a dud. The Monarch is not going to last. Anyway, they're trying to make a guys alliance so that they can make sure that the guys stay tight to each other. But Kylan doesn't quite trust Derek F as much as he puts on. And that's why I say Kylan is playing a very sneaky game to me. Like, I feel like his game strategy is really, really weird. Like, you act like you're friends with these people and you build these relationships with folks, but really you don't have full trust of them. And that's the same thing he was doing with Tiffany earlier. Now, all of a sudden, he sits down and has a talk with Tiffany, and Tiffany and them are like, well, I would like to take you to the final two, because now he sees that Tiffany is in power. So he's going from like Sarah Beth to Tiffany to Derek FV might have power. It's just like all of these combinations he's trying to make to secure his game so that at least he could get to the final two. And in all reality, Tiffany's like, when it all comes down to it, this is a game, and I would take Chada before I take you. And that's what he doesn't know. But this is the big brother, and you must do that in order to stay in the game. So I'm not mad at the decision that Tiffany has made with that, because I feel like he really is just playing all the sides of the house. I was just like, now we find out after this that Sarah Beth goes home and Tiffany and him are getting close. Tiffany and Colin are getting close. That's what's happening this week. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're just playing this game like all around the place. But I guess that's how some people play their game. That's their strategy. That's how they move. That's what they want to do. I'm not going to knock it. This is what you do. Is how you play your game. So we visit the jury house before this eviction of Sarah Beth, which we already knew because I said it at the very beginning because I was glad to see her go. And we find out that Brittany and Derek X are in the house. Brittany is shocked to see Derek X because that was the last person she thought that she was going to see up in the house. And I was just basically like, yeah, I'm glad that they got him out when they did. But they start putting things together in the jury already. So it's going to be interesting conversation when the next person comes, Sarah Beth, and they start piecing everything together and Sarah Beth actually finds out what's going on. It's going to be very interesting to see the reaction of them and how they're going to vote when it all comes down to it because of this cookout and everything that's been going down. So I think they're really smart on it, but I don't think they're upset. They're saying it's really good gameplay, and I feel like that. So Sarah Beth went out 5-1. Tiffany was her one sympathy vote, which I'm glad they gave that to her so she didn't have to go out with disgrace. Like, I think Brent went out with 0. So at least you didn't go out like Brent, Sarah Beth. Be happy. You are liked. They liked you that much to give you a sympathy vote. So be happy about that. Be happy that they did that for you. Anyway, they give the goodbye messages. And I just want to mention really quick, like I was talking about earlier, Chada, her comment to Sarah Beth, you can tell she did not like her at all. Every time, she did the same thing with Brent. People that she really, truly dislikes, she cuts them real deep. I was just sitting there looking at the TV like, ooh, Sarah Beth. Like, ooh, she tore Sarah Beth a new one. I was like, dang, Chada, okay, you can let her down a little easy. She's like, and we couldn't go further. She was like, and we couldn't go further with working together, period. Like, just cut it right there. I was just like, okay. I love how she moves, though. I still love Chada. She's the best. And then Kylan also hints at there being another alliance is why Sarah Beth had to say goodbye. So Kylan is giving out these little hints. I think Sarah Beth will start putting it together when she gets in here with Brittany and Derek X. It's going to be such a great week coming up. Y'all do not. If there's any, I'm so glad people are getting into Big Brother right now that they see how far the cookout is getting. But if there's any week you don't want to miss, is the next 2 weeks of Big Brother. This is the first time I've seen it in Big Brother history where they have a double eviction on top of a double eviction. I think they've done a triple eviction before all in one night. I think they did. It was like a long episode where they did a triple eviction. But this is a double. Double evictions are the best because you play 2 games in one. You get to play 2 whole weeks of Big Brother within that allotment of time. And they are the best shows. I love double eviction. There's so much to talk about. So I cannot wait till it gets down to it. So there's a double eviction this upcoming week and then a whole nother double eviction the next week, which is insane. And they're bringing Zingbot is coming back this week. I can't wait to see how he cracks on folks. I really wanted Sarah Beth to be there for Zingbot, but oh well, he was not. I would have loved to see some of the cracks on that. Anyway, it's going to be an amazing week. Make sure y'all are tuning in. Thank you for the new subscribers that have come over to this page to watch stuff about Big Brother. Make sure you get other people to come and subscribe, to come and subscribe to this page so you can see all of my take on Big Brother in this historic season. And also make sure you watch Big Brother every Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday on CBS. I will see you guys back here next Monday where we are going to chop up week 9. And I can't wait to go through how the double evictions go down because you got to think fast and on your feet. And hopefully by next week with a double eviction, you would think we would finally have our cookout that we had planned from week 1. Historic history is being made on Big Brother. All right, I'll see you guys here next week. Bye, Julie.